Estonia is a country by Baltic Sea in northern Europe. Bordered to the north by Gulf of Finland across from Finland, to the west by the sea across from Sweden, to the south by Latvia and to the east by Russia. Estonia's territory consists of mainland, larger islands of Saaremaa, Hiiuman, and over 2,300 islands and islets on the east coast of Baltic Sea, covering total area of 45,335 square kilometers. Tallinn and Tartu are two largest urban areas. Estonian language is the official language and first language of the majority of the population of 1.4 million. Present-day Estonia inhabited by humans since 9000 BC. Medieval indigenous population of Estonia was one of the last pagan civilizations in Europe to adopt Christianity following Northern Crusades in 13th century. After more than 6 centuries of rule by Teutonic Order, Denmark, Sweden, Poland, Lithuania and Russian Empire, a distinct Estonian national identity began to re-emerge in mid-19th century. This culminated in the 1918 Estonian Declaration of Independence from warring Russian and German empires. Democratic throughout most of the interwar period, Estonia declared neutrality at outbreak of World War II, but the country was repeatedly contested, invaded and occupied. First by Soviet Union in 1940, then Nazi Germany in 1941 and ultimately reoccupied in 1944 by and annexed into USSR as an administrative subunit, Estonian SSR. Throughout 1944 to 1991 Soviet occupation, Estonia's de jure state continuity was preserved by diplomatic representatives and the government in exile. Following 1988 to 1990 Singing Revolution against Soviet rule, the nation's full independence was restored on the 20th of August, 1991. Estonia is a developed country with high-income advanced economy and member of Eurozone. It is a democratic unitary parliamentary republic, administratively subdivided into 15 markand counties. With a population of 1.37 million, it is one of the least populous members of European Union and NATO. Estonia is among the least corrupt countries in the world and has the lowest level of corruption among the former Soviet Union states. Estonia has consistently ranked highly in international rankings for quality of life, education, press freedom, digitalization of public services and the prevalence of technology companies. Estonia is located on the northwestern part of East European platform, bordering Fennoscandian Shield. Estonia's bedrock consists of 2 main layers: crystalline basement and sedimentary cover. These are further classified into 3 distinct geological complexes. The crystalline basement, composed of granites, gneisses, and other crystalline rocks formed during Proterozoic. This is overlain by sedimentary cover of Paleozoic rocks including limestones and sandstones. Above this, a quaternary surface layer is mainly composed of unconsolidated sediments such as gravels, sands, and clays which formed in the Cenozoic. Estonia experiences transitional climate that lies between continental and maritime influences, characterized as humid continental climate. Estonia's climate is notably milder than other regions at the same latitude due to the moderating effects of Atlantic Ocean and North Atlantic Current. In North America, Estonia aligns with the average latitude of Labrador Peninsula and the southern coast of Alaska, making its climate unique for its geographical position. The prevailing weather patterns in Estonia are significantly influenced by active cyclonic activity in the northern Atlantic, particularly from Icelandic low. This results in strong winds, precipitation, and abrupt temperature fluctuations, especially during autumn and winter months. The westerly winds carry moist maritime air far into the continental interior, leading to milder temperatures in winter and slightly cooler conditions in summer compared to continental areas further away from the coast. Coastal regions and islands generally enjoy milder climate with Baltic Sea moderating temperatures, keeping coastal areas warmer in winter and cooler in summer. Estonia is situated in the temperate climate zone and in the transition zone between maritime and continental climate, characterized by warm summers and fairly mild winters. Primary local differences are caused by Baltic Sea, which warms the coastal areas in winter and cools them in the spring. The calculated mean temperature for the country's territory ranges from 17.8 degrees Celsius in July to -3.8 degrees Celsius in February, with annual average 6.4 degrees Celsius. Highest recorded temperature 35.6 degrees Celsius from 1992 and lowest minus 43.5 degrees Celsius from 1940. Annual average precipitation is 662 millimeters with daily record 148 millimeters. Snow cover varies significantly on different years. Prevailing winds are westerly, southwesterly and southerly. Average annual wind speed varies between 2.1 meters per second and 6.1 meters per second, being smaller inland and the largest on the west coast. Average monthly sunshine duration ranges from 290 hours in August to 21 hours in December. As calculated average, Estonia receives 1830 hours of sunshine per year. Seasonal differences in Estonia are pronounced also in day length. The longest day lasts up to 18 hours and 40 minutes in Tallinn and 18 hours and 10 minutes in Võru. The shortest day is about 6 hours and 2 minutes in Tallinn and 6 hours and 39 minutes in Valga. The phenomenon of white nights occurs from early May to late July, during which the sun remains visible for extended periods. The vegetation period spans 179 to 203 days, with frost-free period lasting between 110 and 190 days. Snow cover varies significantly across the country, lasting on average between 75 and 135 days per year, with the least amount found on the western coast of Saaremaa and the most in Haanja and Pandavere upland. Estonia is recognized as one of the most biodiverse regions in Europe, particularly for its size and latitude. Boasts diverse array of climatic and soil conditions, as well as abundance of marine and freshwater ecosystems. This rich biodiversity enable many species survival that extinct in most other European nations. Protected areas cover 19.4% of Estonian land and 23% of total area, together with territorial sea. The country is home to 4,000 protected natural objects, which encompass 6 national parks, 231 nature conservation areas and 154 landscape reserves. Grey wolf is the national animal of Estonia. Estonia lies on northern border of temperate broadleaf forest biomes. Phytogeographically, Estonia is shared between Central European and Eastern European provinces of Circumboreal region within Boreal Kingdom. According to WWF, Estonia's territory belongs to ecoregion of Sarmatic mixed forests. 330 bird species found in Estonia, including white-tailed eagle, lesser spotted eagle, golden eagle, western capercaillie, black white-stork and variety of owls, waders and geese. Barn swallow is the national bird of Estonia. Estonia is located on the migration route for millions of passerines flying through central Estonia, as well as 50 million waterfowl and shorebirds flying along northwestern coast, holding European record for the highest number of migrating species observed. Estonian fauna is characterized by significant presence of aquatic, riparian, forest and open field species. The country is home to 64 mammal species, 11 amphibians, and 5 reptiles. Large mammals include grey wolf, lynx, brown bear, red fox, badger, wild boar, moose, roe deer, beaver, otter, grey seal and ringed seal. Notably, Estonia successfully maintained population of European minks on its islands through decades-long conservation programs, countering encroachment of American minks. Critically endangered European mink successfully reintroduced on Hiiuman, while rare Siberian flying squirrel thrives in eastern Estonia. Furthermore, red deer, previously extirpated, successfully reintroduced. In early 21st century, population of European jackals was confirmed in western Estonia, expanding their range significantly. Introduced mammals include sika deer, fallow deer, raccoon dog, muskrat and American mink. Estonia's natural landscape features unique flora, including endemic species such as Saaremaa yellow rattle, which cannot be found elsewhere in the world. The country has rich composition of floristic groups with 3,000 algae and cyanobacteria species, 850 lichens, and 600 bryophytes. As of 2012, forests covered 48% of Estonia's land area, supporting wide range of plant species. Among these, 87 native and 500 introduced tree and bush species identified, with most common trees being pine, birch, and spruce. Cornflower serves as Estonia's national flower. Additionally, Estonia is home to 6,000 fungi species with 3,461 identified. These fungi play a vital role in ecosystem by forming mycorrhizal associations with trees and shrubs, and all tree species present in Estonia rely on these symbiotic relationships for their growth and health. Estonia's transportation system is an essential part of the country's infrastructure, facilitating both domestic and international movement of goods and people. Modes of transportation include road, rail, maritime and air transport, each contributing significantly to the economy and accessibility of the region. Port of Tallinn is one of the largest maritime enterprises in Baltic Sea, catering to cargo and passenger. Among the facilities is ice-free port of Muuga, located near Tallinn, which boasts modern transshipment capabilities, high-capacity grain elevator, chill and frozen storage and enhanced oil tanker offloading facilities. Estonian shipping company Tallink operates fleet of Baltic Sea cruise ferries and Ro-Pax ships, making it the largest passenger and cargo shipping operator in Baltic Sea, with routes connecting Estonia to Finland and Sweden. Ferry lines to Estonian islands operated by TS Liivad and Kinu Veeteed. Estonia's railway network, operated by state-owned Eesti Raudtee, encompasses 2,000 kilometers, including 209.6 kilometers Tallinn-Narva line, which also link to St. Petersburg. While much of Estonia's original narrow-gauge railway network dismantled during Soviet occupation, preserved sections can be found at Lavassaar Railway Museum and Naisa Island. Additionally, Tallinn operates narrow-gauge tram network. Rail Baltica link Estonia and other Baltic capitals to European standard gauge railway system. An undersea railway tunnel linking Tallinn and Helsinki has been proposed. Road infrastructure is extensive, with 16,982 kilometers of state-managed roads, including 12,716 kilometers of paved surfaces, ensuring reliable transport across the country. Major highways such as Narva Highway, E20, Tartu Highway, E263, and Pärnu Highway, E67, are essential for both local and international travel. Estonia has high rate of car ownership, with most households owning at least one vehicle and nearly half owning two. Nearly half of city residents and one-third of rural residents engage in walking or cycling as part of their daily travel. Authorities try to promote road safety and combat speeding. Lennart Meri Tallinn Airport is the largest airport in Estonia. Following bankruptcies of national airline Estonian Air in 2015 and Nordica in 2024, Tallinn Airport remains secondary hub for Air Baltic and LOT Polish Airlines. Other airports with regular passenger flights include Tartu Airport, Pärnu Airport, Kirsi Airport, and Kardla Airport. While Estonia's culture also influenced by neighboring Baltic, Germanic and Slavic traditions, as well as the historical powers of Germany, Sweden and Russia, the emphasis on indigenous practices highlights strong connection to the land and community. This blend of influences aspire Estonia to be recognized as a Nordic state, embracing both unique identity and broader regional connections. However, the pride in belonging to Eastern Europe has also grown in the 2020s. Contemporary Estonian society is marked by strong commitment to individual liberty, advocating for the principles of limited government and a resistance to centralized power and corruption. Protestant work ethic remains cultural mainstay, emphasizing diligence and self-reliance. Education is highly valued in Estonia, with free access to schooling being a highly prized institution. Cultural framework of Estonia reflects the egalitarian ethos found in Nordic countries, emerging from practical considerations such as everyman's right and universal suffrage, while also embodying ideals of closeness to nature and self-sufficiency, often expressed through the tradition of summer cottages. One of the most significant cultural traditions in Estonia is the sauna. Smoke sauna tradition of Võru County, characterized by lack of a chimney and use of smoke in the heating process, was inscribed on UNESCO list of intangible cultural heritage in 2014. Smoke saunas, along with accompanying rituals, form integral part of Estonian cultural heritage. Estonia fosters vibrant artistic community with institutions such as Estonian Academy of Arts, providing higher education in art, design, architecture, media, art history and conservation. University of Tartu Viljandi Culture Academy promotes native culture through programs focused on traditional crafts, music and arts. As of 2023, Estonia boasted 170 museums whose collections collectively hold over 10 million artifacts, reflecting the country's rich historical narrative and cultural legacy. Estonia observes 11 public holidays with mandatory days off and celebrates 12 additional national holidays each year. Estonian National Day is the Independence Day observed on the 24th of February to commemorate 1918 Estonian Declaration of Independence. Another pivotal holiday, Voidu-Puja, celebrated on the 23rd of June in remembrance of 1919 Battle of CSIS victory. This holiday often merges with Jaanipäev, or Midsummer, one of the oldest and most widely celebrated events in Estonia, tracing back to pagan fertility rites. On Midsummer's Eve, Estonians traditionally gather around bonfires near the village swing to enjoy dancing, singing, and other festivities. Christmas, Jõulud, is deeply cherished in Estonia, its traditions blending ancient winter solstice customs with Christian and modern holiday practices. Estonian folk calendar reflects unique blend of indigenous, agricultural and Christian influences, capturing traditional timekeeping and cultural observances. Lunar runic calendars traditionally used in West Estonia to observe the holidays of folk calendar. Structured around the seasonal changes and agricultural cycles, it includes over 80 special days, many holding regional significance and reflecting deep respect for nature and ancestry. Winter and summer solstices are particularly important, with various customs marking these seasonal shifts. All Souls' Day stands out as day for honoring the deceased. Family members gather at cemeteries to clean tombstones and light candles, creating an atmosphere of reverence. Architecture of Estonia reflects a blend of Northern European styles shaped by local traditions and materials. Estonian folk architecture is distinguished by single farms set within open landscapes, typically including a smoke sauna. The materials, timber and boulders, were used extensively in traditional Estonian structures. Riihielamu, unique Estonian farmhouse style, remains prominent in some South Estonian villages. Estonia is home to many hill forts from pre-Christian time, medieval castles, churches, and countryside structures such as manor houses, mills and inns. Traditional construction methods are still practiced in some regions. In Middle Ages, old Livonian cities developed around central marketplaces with street networks forming cohesive old towns. The earliest significant architectural trend was Romanesque in 12th and 13th centuries, evident in limited surviving examples such as Valgala Church on Saaremaa. Gothic architecture beginning in 13th century defined Estonia's medieval style as seen in castles of Kuressaare and Narva and cathedrals in Tallinn and Tartu. Geological differences influenced regional styles. South Estonia embraced red brick Gothic while white limestone dominated in Tallinn. The medieval Old Town of Tallinn, UNESCO World Heritage Site, remains one of Estonia's most important architectural ensembles. Renaissance left its mark through Tallinn House of Blackheads, while Baroque produced Kadriorg Palace and Narva's Old Town that was destroyed during World War II. Tartu's architectural landscape was heavily impacted by Great Northern War, with much of the old town lost to destruction. However, structures like St. John's Church and the ruins of Tartu Cathedral remain. In 18th and 19th centuries, Tartu was largely rebuilt in neoclassical style, with Johann Wilhelm Krause emerging as a key architect in this period. In late 19th and early 20th centuries, National Romantic style emerged, seeking inspiration from traditional Estonian architecture. Following Estonia's independence, the country sought to express its identity through new buildings. Estonian Parliament Building at Toompea, designed by architects Eugen Habermann and Herbert Johansson and completed in 1922, combines traditionalist exterior with unique expressionist interior, making it the world's only expressionist parliament building. During 1930s, Estonia saw the development of distinctive style of stripped classicism influenced by architects such as Alar Kotli and Edgar Johann Kuusik, which became a symbol of independent Estonia. Meanwhile, functionalism gained popularity in Nõmm and Pärnu, particularly through the work of Olive Siienmaa, shaping the modernist approach in public architecture. Under Soviet occupation, Estonia's architecture was heavily influenced by Soviet urban modernism. The 1980s marked a resurgence of Estonian architectural identity, with postmodernist architects drawing from 1930s styles. Since regaining independence, Estonia embraced diverse architectural trends, especially in Tallinn's business districts. Architect Vailin Kunapuu emerged as a leading figure. Estonian folklore and mythology are rooted in pre-Christian animistic beliefs and shaped by various cultural influences over centuries. Many folk tales are told to this day, and some have been written down and translated to make them accessible to an international readership. While much of Estonia's ancient mythology is scattered across fragments of oral tradition, some of the oldest myths are believed to have survived in traditional runic songs. One such song narrates the birth of the world, where a bird lays 3 eggs, from which emerge the sun, the moon, and the earth. These songs describe a world centered on a cosmic pillar or tree, often depicted with the Milky Way, Linnuti or Bird's Way in Estonian, stretching across the sky as a branch of this world tree, Ilmapuu, and serving as a pathway for birds, which were thought to transport the souls of the deceased to the other world. Estonian mythology took new forms with the shift from hunter-gatherer societies to agrarian life, inspired also from contact with neighboring cultures. This transition led to the prominence of sky and weather deities, including a thunder god named Uku. Another deity, Jumal, is shared with other Finnic cultures as a sky god. Earth was also venerated as a goddess, embodying the fertility and eternal recurrence of the soil. Chronicles from medieval missionaries mention a god named Tharapita, worshipped particularly on the island of Saaremaa, who was believed to have been born on Abavia Hill and was revered in its sacred groves. The mythical heroes and giants, such as Kalevaipog and Suur Toll, are central to Estonian folklore. Kalevaipog, Estonia's legendary giant hero, is often portrayed defending the land from invaders, and many natural landmarks are said to be traces of his deeds. Kalevaipog's character merges with Christian and folk mythology to form a half-demonic figure known as Vanapagan, who lives on a manor and is often accompanied by his crafty assistant, Kavalants, crafty hands. These characters embody a blend of ancient heroism, wit, and trickster elements that feature prominently in Estonian storytelling. Various motifs in Estonian mythology center around mythical objects and transformations, such as a mighty oak that grows into the sky and is felled to create objects of power, and tales of celestial suitors where a young maiden ultimately chooses the star. Natural features, like lakes, are said to move when desecrated, and the tragic story of an air maiden, who ascends to the heavens after being killed by her mother, reflects the profound ties Estonian folklore has to themes of nature, fate, and the supernatural. Other deeply symbolic legends tell of a blacksmith who creates a golden woman but cannot give her a soul, or a sacred grove that withers until 9 brothers' sacrifices restore it. Folk tales also recount a girl finding a fish with a woman inside, or young girls meeting seducing spirits from the other world. A leading figure in the learned Estonian society, Friedrich Robert Fehlmann, published a number of Estonian legends and myths in German based on genuine Estonian folklore and on Gananda's Finnish mythology. The Dawn and Dusk, Koit ja Hämarik, became considered one of the most beautiful Estonian myths having authentic origin. Jacob Hirt, known as the King of Estonian folklore, began large-scale collection campaign in the 1880s, gathering around 12,400 pages of folklore. Inspired by Hirt, Matthias Johann Eisen amassed a monumental 90,000 pages of folklore by the early 20th century. These collections are preserved by the Estonian Folklore Archives, one of the largest such institutions in the world. The architecture of Estonia reflects a blend of Northern European styles shaped by local traditions and materials. Estonian folk architecture is distinguished by single farms set within open landscapes, typically including a smoke sauna. The primary materials, timber and boulders, were used extensively in traditional Estonian structures. The Riihielamu, a unique Estonian farmhouse style, remains prominent in some South Estonian villages. Estonia is also home to many hill forts from pre-Christian times, medieval castles, churches, and countryside structures such as manor houses, mills, and inns. Traditional construction methods are still practiced in some regions. In the Middle Ages, old Livonian cities developed around central marketplaces with street networks forming cohesive old towns. The earliest significant architectural trend was Romanesque in the 12th and 13th centuries, evident in limited surviving examples such as Valgala Church on Saaremaa. Gothic architecture beginning in the 13th century defined Estonia's medieval style, as seen in the castles of Kuressaare and Narva, and the cathedrals in Tallinn and Tartu. Geological differences influenced regional styles. South Estonia embraced red brick Gothic, while white limestone dominated in Tallinn. The medieval old town of Tallinn, now a UNESCO World Heritage Site, remains one of Estonia's most important architectural ensembles. The Renaissance left its mark through the Tallinn House of the Blackheads, while the Baroque produced Kadriorg Palace and Narva's Old Town that was destroyed during World War II. Tartu's architectural landscape was heavily impacted by the Great Northern War, with much of the old town lost to destruction. However, structures like St. John's Church and the ruins of Tartu Cathedral remain. In the 18th and 19th centuries, Tartu was largely rebuilt in the neoclassical style, with Johann Wilhelm Krause emerging as a key architect in this period. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, National Romantic style emerged, seeking inspiration from traditional Estonian architecture. Following Estonia's independence, the country sought to express its identity through new buildings. The Estonian Parliament building at Toompea, designed by architects Eugen Habermann and Herbert Johansson and completed in 1922, combines a traditionalist exterior with a unique expressionist interior, making it the world's only expressionist parliament building. During the 1930s, Estonia saw the development of a distinctive style of stripped classicism, influenced by architects such as Alar Kotli and Edgar Johann Kuusik, which became a symbol of independent Estonia. Meanwhile, functionalism gained popularity in Nõmm and Pärnu, particularly through the work of Olive Siienmaa, shaping the modernist approach in public architecture. Under the Soviet occupation, Estonia's architecture was heavily influenced by Soviet urban modernism. The 1980s marked a resurgence of Estonian architectural identity, with postmodernist architects drawing from 1930s styles. Since regaining independence, Estonia has embraced diverse architectural trends, especially in Tallinn's business districts. Architect Vailin Kunapuu emerged as a leading figure. A strong connection to the land has shaped Estonian cuisine, reflecting its historical agrarian roots, with a focus on local, seasonal ingredients and simple preparation. Traditionally, food was based on what was available from local farms and the sea, a custom still evident in modern Estonian dishes. For centuries, hunting and fishing were integral to Estonian food culture, and while these are now enjoyed more as hobbies, locally sourced meats and fish remain central to traditional Estonian meals. Most common staples include rye bread, pork, potatoes, and dairy products, and these foods are enjoyed in a variety of forms across seasons. Estonians especially value fresh ingredients in spring and summer, incorporating berries, herbs, and vegetables straight from the garden, while winter meals often feature preserved jams, pickles, and mushrooms. In coastal and lakeside areas, fish plays a significant role. Baltic herring, rame, along with sprat, kilu, are well loved and often served in spiced forms as appetizers or open sandwiches, such as the popular kilovalab, an open sandwich with sprats on black bread. The typical first course in an Estonian meal includes a variety of cold appetizers, featuring pickled vegetables, sausages, meats, and popular salads like potato salad and rosolja, a beetroot and herring salad. Small pastries called perukas, filled with meat, fish, or vegetables, are also common starters, often accompanied by a light broth, or puljong, which complements their savory flavors. Cold fish dishes such as smoked or marinated eel and crayfish are also delicacies in Estonia. Soups play a central role in the Estonian diet and are traditionally served as a complete meal, though today they are often enjoyed as a starter. Pea soup is especially popular, particularly during colder months. A hallmark of Estonian meals is black bread made from rye, recognized for its rich flavor and dense texture, and served with almost every meal as an open sandwich base or an accompaniment to soups and main dishes. Whole grains like barley and oats are also widely used in Estonian cooking. Dairy products hold an important place in Estonian cuisine, with milk and its derivatives valued both as beverages and culinary ingredients. Traditional dairy-based drinks are enjoyed daily and reflect North European tastes for fresh and fermented dairy. Estonian desserts are similarly distinctive, including the cardamom-spiced vaslakakul, an almond paste-filled sweet roll enjoyed seasonally from Christmas through Easter. Alcoholic beverages in Estonia are traditionally beer-based, with locally brewed beers being the preferred drink to accompany meals. Ancient alcoholic beverages like mead, modu, were common historically, although beer has since become more popular. Today, Estonian fruit wines made from apples and berries are enjoyed alongside vodka, viing, and other distilled spirits. These traditional beverages continue to be celebrated, particularly in rural areas and during festive occasions. Non-alcoholic beverages in Estonia also reflect the country's seasonal and agricultural heritage. Kali, a drink similar to kvass, is made from fermented rye bread and remains a popular choice, especially in summer. Another unique drink is birch sap, kaismal, harvested in early spring. The oldest known settlement in Estonia is the Puli settlement. According to radiocarbon dating, it was settled around 11,000 years ago. The earliest human habitation during the Mesolithic period is connected to the Kunda culture. Around 5300 BC, ceramics appear of the Neolithic period, known as Narva culture. This was followed by the comb ceramic culture around 3900 BC, bringing early agriculture and sophisticated religious art. Starting from around 2800 BC, the corded ware culture appeared. This included new activities like primitive farming and animal husbandry. The comb ceramic and corded ware cultures coexisted in Estonia for a millennium, before eventually blending into a Bronze Age Estonian culture. Archaeological estimates place the population within Estonian territory at a modest level, with approximately 6,000 inhabitants in 3900 BC, rising to around 10,000 by 2000 BC. Bronze Age stone-kissed graves in Jolatmi. The Bronze Age saw the establishment of the first hill fort settlements. The Sima Turbino phenomenon brought the first bronze artifacts to the region and is often connected to the development of the Finno-Ugric languages. A transition from hunter-fisher subsistence to single farm-based settlement started around 1000 BC and was complete by the beginning of the Iron Age around 500 BC. The large amount of bronze objects indicate the existence of active communication with Scandinavian and Germanic tribes. By the end of the Bronze Age, domestic manufacture of bronze artifacts began. In the Iron Age, population grew. Local production of iron started approximately in 200 BC. During the first centuries AD, North Estonia, particularly the coastal region of Virumaa, emerged as a cultural hub. This period saw an influx of North Estonian settlers into the sparsely populated Baltic Sea region. This cultural and linguistic expansion originating from North Estonia gave also rise to the neighboring Finnish language and continued until the early 2nd millennium AD, when the encroachment of Baltic and Slavic tribes limited the reach of Finnic cultures. Commercial contacts in the Baltic Sea region grew and extended. During this period, North Estonia developed increasingly robust connections with the southern and southeastern Baltic Sea regions, particularly with tribes associated with the Wheelbark culture and Dolkheim-Kovrovo cultures. Historical sources identify these people as Goths and Easti. There is some speculation that the name Estonia may have originated from the Easti tribes. In the 4th century, Gothic ruler Ermanaric claimed to have subjugated the territories corresponding to Estonia, but there is no archaeological evidence to support this. The late antique Little Ice Age is starkly evident in the archaeological record, with a sharp drop in the number of sites and grave finds, indicating a severe population decline and slow recovery. The North Estonian coast was strategically located on the route from the Varangians to the Greeks, making Estonia a trade hub while also being both a target and starting point for many raids. Coastal Estonians, particularly Assyrians from Saaremaa, adopted Viking lifestyle. Several Scandinavian sagas referred to major confrontations with Estonians, notably when in the early 7th century Estonian Vikings defeated and killed Ingvar Harra, the King of Swedes. The Psalm ship burials dating from mid-8th century have been suggested as a possible starting point for the Viking Age in Europe. In the East Slavic sources, Estonians and other closely related Finnic tribes were known as Chuds. In 862, Chuds participated in the founding of the Rurik dynasty in Novgorod, gradually losing their influence to the Novgorod Slavs who migrated to the area, expanding westward. Kievan Rus attempted to subjugate Estonia in the 11th century, with Uaslav the Wise capturing Tartu around 1030. This foothold lasted until 1061, when an Estonian tribe, the Sossels, destroyed it. In 1187, Estonians, Curonians and Karelians sacked Sigtuna, which was a major city of Sweden at the time. In early centuries AD, Estonia's first political and administrative subdivisions began to take shape. The primary units were the parish and the county, the latter composed of multiple parishes. Parishes were governed by local nobles referred to as kings. Ancient Estonia had a professional warrior caste, while the nobles' wealth and prestige was based on international trade. The parishes were centered around hill forts, though occasionally multiple forts existed within a single parish. By 13th century, Estonia was divided into 8 major counties: Hiiumaa, Jaavamaa, Lahemaa, Revala, Saaremaa, Sakala, Ugandi, and Virumaa, as well as several smaller single-parish counties. These counties operated as independent entities and only formed loose alliances for defense against foreign threats. Estonia's culture during this period was split into 2 primary regions. Northern and western coastal areas maintained close connections with Scandinavia and Finland, while inland south had stronger ties to Balts and the Principality of Pskov. Estonian landscape was dotted with numerous hill forts, and evidence of ancient harbour sites has been found along coast of Saaremaa. During Viking Age, Estonia was a region of active trade with exports such as iron, furs, and honey. Imports included fine goods like silk, jewelry, glass, and Ulfbert swords. Estonian burial sites from this era often contain both individual and collective graves with artifacts such as weapons and jewelry that reflect the shared material culture of Scandinavia and Northern Europe. Spiritual and religious beliefs of medieval Estonians before their Christianization remain a topic of historical interest and debate. Estonian spirituality was deeply rooted in animistic traditions, with shamans and fortune-tellers known abroad, as noted by sources like Adam of Bremen and Novgorod First Chronicle. Chronicle of Henry of Livonia mentions Pirita as supreme deity worshipped by islanders of Saaremaa. Sacred groves, particularly those of oak trees, played significant role in pagan worship practices. Christianity, both Western Catholicism and Eastern Orthodoxy, introduced by foreign traders and missionaries since 10th and 11th century, but most of the population retained their indigenous beliefs. In 1199, Pope Innocent III declared crusade to defend the Christians of Livonia. Fighting reached Estonia in 1206 when Danish King Voldemar II unsuccessfully invaded Saaremaa.